Welcome to the Chain Out Podcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Daryl.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 71 Chain Out Podcast. I am your favorite co-host, Daryl. And with me is not Jeremy.
I am not Jeremy. I'm not Jeremy at all.
How are you doing?
I am great. For those who don't know me, I am Tim Plamondon.
Yes, there you go. Ex-president of Edgar.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's retirement?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, retirement's great. I've been playing as much as the weather allows me.
Yeah,
I've been pacing around my house wondering what Edgar's doing.
right.
Just like wondering, like it's so hard having been inside for so long
Yeah.
to be out of it and be like, I wonder, like, have they filed that thing? Did they put that thing on disc golf? Like, I'm just like,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know anymore.
I did notice that maybe you weren't hanging around Tournament Central too much at Thundertoss. Was that kind of on,
It was super intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, I hung out, said my highs. Then I was like, okay, I got to be in tournament mode today, not tournament director mode.
I guess that's good as well because you're not portraying to Brock that you're. Oh, I'm not checking up on you. Like you've got it. You know he can handle it.
Brock is like the last person I need to check in on.
Yeah,
Like he is plugged in.
Yeah, and you step down, I step on.
Yeah, that's right.
And from my point of view, everything that Brock has done is, he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, and
Yeah.
I mean,
And if he doesn't, he acts well.
yeah, that's right. From just like the a community member perspective now,
Yeah.
it seems great. Like everything
Perfect.
seems like it's just you guys are continuing to crush it. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, I want to ask you how your day is because Dylan's already put in the comments here.
Yeah. Well,
Ace Man Tim.
yes, it was a good day on the disc golf course. I went out with my buddy Travis Bouchard. Shout out.
Yeah.
We had a nice little round. I was kind of having like a medium round. It wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But I got to the legendary hole 14 at Rundle, which is, I don't even know, 140 feet
Right.
wide open, and managed to score the one.
So in that round, we're like, I think we've spoken to Kristen before as well. Like you intentionally run aces. It wasn't a layup. It wasn't a win lift or anything like that. You were running it
on a day where I'm trying to get like a good score. I'm usually running aces anyway.
Yeah.
But I was having like a pretty meh round.
Right,
So
okay.
my desire to run aces, especially on that little hole, was like I need to make some fireworks happen. So that was good. Got the one.
Yeah.
Felt good. What is
Yeah. And Alex Penny there.
Well, he's spoiler alert.
Well,
Anyway,
we're getting to it.
yeah. We finished the round. We had a really great time. I think Travis beat me by pretty good. Anyway, he says, "Do you want to play 1, 2, 3?" And I say, "Yep, that sounds good." And we usually go, "Well, if we play 1, 2, 3, and if someone hits an ace, then we keep going." And lo and behold, hole 3, the wind was just right. We were kind of standing on the tee pad and just smashed the ace. And okay, I guess we're in this round now.
Yeah.
Now that ace might be my first ace where I could say like, yeah, I decided to keep going.
Right.
All other of my aces, it was in round first shot. I don't believe in player B aces. I don't believe in like
practice
throws. No,
Yeah.
those don't count. An ace is a throw in on the first shot.
So you got ace number 1 and 2 today, but that's not your first and second ace.
No, those are aces 32 and 33.
It's insane. And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you've done it multiple times, but I know you did have another double day last year as well.
I did. Yeah, at Hermitage. It was nice. I was finished off River City Cup directing that tournament.
Right.
And I was feeling I had just watched so many people play phenomenal golf. I got to watch a lot of great golf that weekend and not play.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I need to go out for me. And it was kind of the same thing. I was with Kristen and hit an ace in the first round. And then I said, I'm going to run back a second round. And she went, oh, I'm not going to play, but I'll walk with you. And we got it there. But
and not the same hole either.
Not the same hole. No, 5 and 7 different holes. But
right.
I got to tell you, most of my aces come with one particular disc. Not all of them, but most of them. And I brought one for you.
Oh, you did? For me? No, to show.
No. I don't know if you have a Sexton Firebird.
I do.
This is a 21.
This is like the Holy Grail?
It's up there.
Right.
It's good. This is a good one. I have many 21s.
Oh.
That 21 is now yours.
Really?
It's really yours.
I get a Tim Plamondon, Nate Sexton Firebird?
Yeah, it's actually signed too. Like, not signed, but it's inked.
Yeah.
So that's for you.
Look at that.
Okay.
Perfect.
Next ace is all you.
It's it. I'll be throwing this one. I have so if you reach, I don't know if you want to, it's on the bottom row, blue one on the left-hand side. Nope. That's here. They can get the blue one. That's green.
Oh,
what year is that?
This is what is this? A 23?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I think this is a 23. I think these are beefy.
Okay, and this one's not so beefy.
They're a little straighter.
Okay,
Yeah, but they have good finish.
good. So
We got to move on because we've got this whole
we,
script and
yeah,
like I could fill up your entire show with fire
exactly.
break talk. So anyway, that's a little gift. Just thank you for having
Thank
me
you.
on. Thank you
No,
for having me on.
yeah, I mean, you're doing us a great favor, a great co-host that we've had you on before. As Jeremy, like you said, we need to get into this script here because Jeremy is filled it out for us, and
Yeah.
as he says, you're kind of pushing into an elite category now.
Yeah, I've been a guest, what, 4 times?
4 or 5, maybe. I
I
don't
know
know. You're pushing it. Yeah,
yeah, I've been a guest a lot,
yeah.
and so now I'm on the other side. I'm an
Only
interviewer.
there's only ever been 3 co-hosts. There's been me, there's been Jeremy, and Gabe stood in for the
Right,
junior round the junior podcast that we did.
Gabe Schmabe. I'm what he must be like. Is he a kid? Local kid? Gabe?
He's an up and
MA4?
comer. Yeah,
Up and comer.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. I bet you he can throw 200 feet.
easily. So yeah, now you're in this elite category. So we'll see how it goes.
I hope I do Jeremy proud because I know he's gonna watch back and scrutinize
Oh yeah,
and probably like email me feedback based on the script he sent.
right.
He's probably gonna send some feedback.
Yeah, but Jeremy's such a nice guy. Even if he does have feedback, he won't tell you.
That's
He'll say
true.
you did a great job.
Jeremy's so nice.
He is.
He's so nice.
So moving on, spring has finally sprung, Tim. The
Yes.
grass is out on the
Yes.
courses. It's starting to get nicer out. We can
Yes.
get out for some rounds. And speaking of spring, I finally did it. We've talked about it over the last few episodes. I was about 95% last episode. I finally signed up for spring runoff.
You're gonna love it.
We went last year. It was my first out of town.
Yep.
The first tournament I ever did was Battle 6 down at
Right.
Wetaskiwin.
Right.
That was back in 2022, 23,
Right.
or 23, sorry, 24. Headed down to spring runoff.
Yep.
It was a good tournament. I
Yep.
liked it. Situation for me at the moment was what on the fence whether I was going or not.
Right.
Now I'm just excited to go back to try and prove that I can do better than I did that time.
I think sometimes that can be the best motivation.
Right.
And I think those courses, both Nick Sheeran and the university course is the name, Aperture.
Yeah.
I think especially Nick Sheeran, I think if you have a little chip on your shoulder,
Yeah.
you can recall, you can be like, I was here last year. I know
Exactly.
what I need to do.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a course that allows for that. I think Aperture is a little bit tighter. There's some tighter lines, and
Right.
like you got to be touchy. But I do think you can get yours back.
I think so. Yeah. And this year it's flipped. So last year we played Aperture twice and Nick Sheeran once. This year we're playing Nick Sheeran twice. So it's a bit more wide open. It's a bit more forgiving, I think. So longer.
I do want to know about another hole on another tournament though, really quickly.
Do we have to? I don't think we've got time for that, Tim.
You don't need to walk me through everything, but there is a certain hole. Are you going to get retribution on a certain hole at Aspen Meadows this year?
I think I've got you, right?
I think you got it.
Yeah.
You got to show that hole.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't mean to bring it up so early. I meant to bring it up way later. And
What we were talking about. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Listen, I'm excited. I don't know how you're going to spend 3 days with Jeremy. That part escapes me, but like I think those courses are primed for someone to get some retribution. So,
Yeah.
you've got a year more of disc golf under your belt.
Exactly.
So that's a huge thing. Like, don't undersell how important that is.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough enough spending 2 hours next to Jeremy. I'm going to spend 3 days with him.
Is it like a constant podcast? Is it just?
Well, we'll be going down on our own. Our buddy Mark and Tyler are going as well. We'll be sharing with them.
Yeah.
They're going in their own vehicle, so I have to sit with Jeremy for 3 hours or 4 or 5 hours, whatever it takes to get down there.
Right.
Plus all the driving around.
Yeah.
We're in the same division, so chances are we'll be on the same car together at some point. So it's going to test my patience. I know that.
Oh, you're going to have such a good time. You're going to love it. So Chris and I are heading down. It'll be our 3rd time going to spring runoff, and sometimes we hear from people in the community like, the tournament's okay, that course okay. I don't know. We love it.
Yeah.
I love the drive down there. I love the city's really cool.
Yeah.
We were lucky to find a really good Airbnb, like a
Right.
really good Airbnb.
Yeah.
We love the courses. We both historically play really well there. I don't know.
Right.
It feels far away. Like it feels like a vacation to us. So
Right.
I love it. So, and I think it's one of our favorites of the year for sure.
Yeah. And I think when we interviewed Noah Higgins and Rebecca Johnson, we said to them, it's like that tournament is like the kickoff to the season.
Yeah, it really is.
We know we have tundra toss for us, but it's kind of like we're still in winter at that point. We're
Totally.
still in practice in the off season, but that's kind of like your kickoff to your season, right?
It's nice that they gave us Nick Sheeran as a kickoff tournament because you're gonna throw your arm off.
Are you doing the same
I'll do MA1.
But are you doing the same layout? Is
Uh,
it
yeah,
Lecture and
I believe
Aperture and
so.
Obscure?
I believe I haven't even checked the schedule,
Oh,
but I
okay.
believe so. The two times that I played are the same schedule. So
Right.
Nick Sheeran, then Aperture, then Nick Sheeran, and like that whole one Nick Sheeran, that's like 1,000 foot hole, right?
1049. I
Yeah,
just watched it
yeah.
today.
There you go. It's like 1,000 foot, and that's how you start your tournament. And that's how you start your tournament year. Is with
Yeah.
1,000 foot, whatever,
Par
par
five.
five. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So but I mean, I love those courses, and yeah, I'm stoked, so stoked for that course and
Right.
that tournament. They do a good
And,
job.
and then Kristen brought up a good point here. And we'll have to have another strange dinner at a deserted pub.
We tried really hard to have a nice friend dinner in a good
Yeah.
pub, but I don't know because I mean it was a holiday. It's Victoria Day.
Right.
I don't know, they weren't open
You
or they were
pre-booked it. You
closing.
warned them.
I know, who knows?
But
I don't know. But
yeah.
we had a lovely dinner for a few minutes.
Yeah, it was a rushed meal for
It
sure.
was a
At least they did feed us.
They did.
Like we're waiting for two more. Oh,
Yeah.
you know we're closing in like half an hour? Oh, no, we didn't know that.
I see Brock mentioned the tag team match
Yeah.
championship really quickly. April 26th.
Yep.
I currently have a partner.
Right.
My partner might be bailing on me. Don't know if he's watching, but anyway, that is also a really, really cool event
Yeah.
that Egg is doing. And we had a couple people who went down and played last year,
Right.
and that's super cool to see. Like not just that we put on that event, but that we had people who won the event and actually took advantage of the opportunity to
Right.
go play the courses there. So
Yeah. And so it was Matt Dwyer and
Brimacombe.
Brimacombe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mentioned that to Matt last time, and I think I brought it up to Brock as well about what's the intention if you're going to go and play the event and you're
Yeah.
trying to win.
Yeah.
Are you going with the intention that you're actually going to participate
That's right.
and go and play it as well?
I would hope
But
that the teams that are playing in the tag team championship here would intend to go. Like,
right.
I would hope that would be because like when are you going to get another chance to play that course?
Yeah.
I don't know. And in a competitive level.
In a competitive, exactly.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I should have brought this up a little bit earlier, seeing as you brought the Nate Sexton disc. But last week, or it was the week before, a couple of weeks ago, we spoke to Sophia Donica.
Yep.
And she kind of teased it a little bit. She said that something might be happening. Check out the Smith Lake Farm Facebook page. Well, she came out, she put out a little short, and she was flashing some discs. And if you had a keen eye, you could see that she was putting with I think it was a Praxis, or it might have been the Nerve.
I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, so that was the Thomas Gilbert putter.
Right. That makes sense.
She pulled out her Eagle L.
Base. Right.
And then she finished it off, flashing a very nice disc. And then the cat's out of the bag now. Smith Lake have announced it.
Yep.
That they're going to be hosting an event at Smith Lake Farm with Sophia Donica, Chance Stad, Thomas Gilbert, and Nate Sexton.
The one and only Nate Sexton.
Yeah. What an event that's going to be.
Oh, it's going to be so cool. And I mean, we've had some events in Canada where pros have come up, like what it was previously the Discmania Open, I think it was at Bon Shaw.
Okay, yeah.
Where Nate Sexton and Jeremy Cohen, people come up and play that event for the Canadian Nationals when it was over there, and
Yeah.
so we've had some, and I think last year in between events, like Gannon Burr and Alden Harris came up to play. What was it, the Ontario Championship?
The Innova Rip.
Yeah, the Innova Rip. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Thank
Yeah.
you. Anytime we can get those elite level pros to play our courses or just to come be a part of our communities, I mean, it's so impactful to the people
Yeah.
of those communities.
Absolutely.
It means so much. And I think I remember the first time that I saw like an elite level pro throw a disc. It was at the Memorial Championship, and it was like, oh, Paul Macbeth just ripped a buzz 380 feet,
Yeah.
and it didn't look like he did anything.
Right.
Like it really clicked for me, like just how good the pros are.
I've said that before. I'd say we go and play Bailey's. We go play the Edmonton Open, and Casey Hannemeyer shows up, and he just bombs and rips that course up. And you think, how good is Casey? Casey goes down to the Pro Tour, and he finishes like 23rd. And you think, how elite is the next elite above? It just goes up in stages, right?
They're very elite. They're quite elite. So it's really cool. I mean, it's. I hope events like this continue to build and we see more. And I'd like to see maybe one day like a disc golf pro tour stop in Canada.
Yeah,
right?
That's the plan.
The Canadian
that's the goal.
swing. We just went to the Texas swing.
Yeah.
Come for the Canadian swing.
Absolutely. I'm more down for that.
Yeah, I know.
Just want to address one thing because Kristen brought it up here in the chat and then Sonia answered it. She thought that Smith Lake Farm was in the States, but then Sonia is from BC, so she's saying it's just outside Comox Valley.
Yeah.
There you go. Just to
There
clarify.
There it is.
Okay, we had a guest waiting for quite a while, so let's
Hey.
zip through this quick, the bit that Jeremy normally says. So I'm going to do my best. So we thank everybody for watching, for subscribing. Don't forget, there's still time to get in with our 350 subscriber giveaway. We're at 371 now, so we blew the target out of the water, but it goes until March 31st. Go check out our Instagram for the post, tag for some friends, and you can win a whole bunch of prizes that we're giving away. We'd like to thank Cardinal Disc Golf and BR Disc Golf for sponsoring the Chain Out podcast. If you want to look as good as me or Jeremy, don't forget you can use code CHAINOUT for 10% off. And the same at BR Disc Golf Chain Out, you'll receive 10% off. But that's not all, Tim.
That's not all. There's
No,
more.
there is more. If you look behind you somewhere, it's on my cart. I have a Chantel. Oh no, sorry, I'm mistaken. I've got the Thomas Gilbert. Jeremy's got the Chantel Bedinsky. But we have some goat towels. So if you like to go visit Goat Towel, use the code COP15. You'll get 15% off your order. And I've got a button for this one. I put it up in the chat. If you don't want to go play disc golf in the evenings, you want to play a board game, Chains the board disc golf board game. We had Callum Mathers on the show. He was gracious to offer us a 25% discount on the Chains the board game.
You're just hooking people up with things they need.
Exactly, right?
And like, thank you to those sponsors for offering that. That's fantastic.
It's what we're all about here. We're all about giving stuff away.
That Cardinal
And
disc
all-
golf stuff is really mint.
It is good.
It's nice.
Yeah, it is nice quality stuff. And they've got good designs as well.
Yeah.
So thanks. Truly appreciate everybody for listening, subscribing, following, and sharing the Chain Up podcast. After the podcast, we're going to jump right over to Patreon. We'll still be on YouTube, but it'll be unlisted for the Patreon members. This evening, we have another special guest, somebody that we'd like to check in with because we have these guests on. We don't think it's right that we just have them on the podcast and then we never talk to them again.
No.
So we like to go back, revisit them, see how they're doing. So tonight on Around the Basket, and you're sticking around for Around the Basket as well.
Yes, I'm very excited about this guest, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to be sticking around for Around the Basket. I also want to say,
Yeah.
I mean, we for sure you and Jeremy,
Right.
Want to check in on your guests, but I'm sure your guests want to check in on you.
Possibly, maybe.
They have.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Want
Well,
to see how we're doing, how we're growing?
that's right.
Yeah. So we'll be joined by Chantel Bedinsky.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so exciting.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Okay, we're going to skip a few here. I'm going to go straight to our guest here. Tim, that's your name.
That's my name. It's
Yeah.
great though.
Okay. So tonight's guest plays MA1 from Ontario. His first event was the Ontario Provincials, I believe. When he's not playing disc golf, he is part of a duo that's making great disc golf content, traveling to stops on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and representing Canada on the World Disc Golf stage. Please join us in welcoming Chris Underwood to the show.
Hello.
Hey, Chris. How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic.
We're happy you made it through that intro with us. We were gonna go off on Firebirds for a minute.
I don't blame you. They're pretty sweet.
They're sweet.
Yeah, here you go. So how are you? Whereabouts are you located at the moment? You're just coming off. You're still in the middle of your tournament swing.
Yes, we are currently in Jonesboro, Arkansas. So, yeah, somewhere south. But
Does it all become
the
a
weather
blur at
is-
some point?
it really does. Like
Yeah.
every day I seem to wake up and I'm just like, wait, where are we? Are we in a hotel? Is this an Airbnb? Like, what bed am I in? Like, you're just constantly traveling place to place. It's crazy.
Yeah. How long have you been on the road now?
This will be our third week. Third week in a row.
And like I'm just jealous of the grass. like playing disc golf in the snow for so long, it only gets me so far. We obviously watch the Pro Tour every weekend. We see where you guys are traveling, and then it's like, oh, things are green, and they're on grass.
You get to wear shorts.
Yeah, they get to wear shorts.
Yeah, we've been pretty lucky with the weather too. This weekend we're probably gonna get a little bit of rain, but the last three tournaments we've had it's been nice and warm. It's actually been hot. I've been getting sunburned.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh,
it's been
yeah.
great.
So one of the things that you and Chantel do when you're not practicing things like that, you like to get out and film some content as well, some other local courses. Has there been any favorite local courses that you've played?
Uh, we do have a video that is in the works right now, from Florida. I cannot remember the name, but it was really cool. We'll probably be releasing it by the end of this week, but that was probably one of my favorites. We get to see all like the little, like, I don't want to be rude, but like the dinky courses, the ones
Yeah,
that like, it's just like the community really takes care of and stuff. And it's cool to see those. We just played in Texas. It was the oldest course in
yeah.
the area. And you could definitely tell it was the oldest, but all the people commenting that they just love it. Like,
Yeah.
it's their home course and they pour all their love into it and they do leagues and stuff there. And it's cool to see that.
Yeah. It was super windy when you were playing it.
Oh, yes, it was insane. And there's a bunch of random people like everywhere. And most of the shots from the longs were blind shots.
Yeah.
So people were playing that. And we're just like, you are so brave in this wind. Like, because you could just smoke somebody and then, oh,
Yeah.
that'd be a bad day.
I forget which hole it was. It was one that you teed off and it kind of caught the wind and went down the bank. And it was like a river or there was some water down the bottom, but like where you landed was totally blind from where you teed off from. Like there could have been somebody sitting there, walking, riding a bike, anything.
Yeah, yeah. And like a little bit further up from that, if I could throw that far, is the actual tee pad for another hole. So, and like I could have hit him. So luckily I don't throw that far.
When you
Right.
when you go to those courses, do you find that you guys play the same layout, or do you try to play different layouts from each other?
No, we play the same layout. It's me and Chantel actually have a very similar game, so we're able to play the same layouts and shoot fairly similar. Obviously, she destroys me in the putting, but like it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, on the Chain Out podcast, we like to find out how you got into disc golf, but we just don't want to ask you how you got into disc golf. Jeremy is my co-host that's normally here. He likes to put a little bit of a spin on it. He likes to put it out there for our listeners to guess. So I'm going to give you your bit of an intro, and it'll give you a bit of a time to just solidify your answer for how you got into disc golf. So maybe you found disc golf while you were visiting a friend on the other side of the country. It was the fall, and you couldn't wait to get home for Thanksgiving and tell all your friends about it. Trouble started right away trouble started right away on your journey home when the weather was too inclement to fly. You just had to get home and share this new sport, so you jumped on a train, which broke down shortly into the journey. You found a local course to throw around and try to relieve all that travel stress, even if you were going the wrong way. After that, you went to rent an automobile to get you the rest of the way home. When you got to the spot where the rental car was supposed to be, it wasn't there. Somehow you finally made it home. You told your friends and family all about disc golf and have been playing and traveling ever since. Now that can't be how you got into disc golf, but why don't you let everybody know how you got into it?
So me and Chantel were walking the dogs,
Right.
and we decided to be crazy and try a different park this day. And we went to a park a little further away from our house, and we saw these weird things, these metal contraptions. And we're like, "What the heck is this?" Kept walking and seen a sign that said disc golf, and we're like, "Oh, well, that's what these are." Okay, so we went to Dollarama and bought a frisbee and went back and decided to play, and we had a blast. We loved it. And then once we eventually went back and started playing more, we saw people and they were throwing it like way further than us, and they were smoking
Right.
trees and it was coming in with so much speed, and I was like, how are they doing this? This is insane. And then I saw one of the discs and I was like, oh, this isn't like ours, this is totally different.
Yeah.
And then from there we went on Amazon, got a starter set, and played in a tournament like 2 weeks later, something like that.
Wow.
The turnaround on that was super fast.
Yeah, it was crazy how quick it just took over our lives. And
Yeah.
we don't come from like athletic backgrounds or anything. We just found it, love the flight of a disc, and we're like, I want to get better at this.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's crazy that it's just that coincidence that you just decided to go to a different park to walk your dog that day, and that was it. That changed that moment is that's that fork in the road, right? That
Yeah.
everyone talks about. You could have gone to the same park, you went to a different one, and you picked up this whole new career.
Yeah, which significantly changed the trajectory of our lives, really, because we would never be traveling like this or be doing podcasts like this or anything without disc golf. So it really impacted our lives in a very beneficial way.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like origin stories are so interesting because everyone has such a unique origin story. Like for me, I've spoken about it on this podcast before, but I went to go play soccer golf with a friend and we got redirected and I happened to have Aerobie frisbees. Like
Yeah.
if I don't have Aerobie frisbees in my trunk that day, I might not have found that. And I find that so many people have that like just super unique origin story that's just like, oh yeah, like kind of like Chris is saying, like I saw these weird things in the park and I don't know what they were, so I thought I'd check it. You know, it's so cool how it's found.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So when you went and got your starter set, did you get one each?
Yes, yeah, we got the Innova ones, the one that come with like the DX plastic, and
Yeah.
we were just turning everything over. We had no idea what was going on,
Right.
and for some reason, we felt confident enough to play in our first tournament, and we used those. And I believe Chantel was putting with a leopard during the tournament,
Hey, whatever
which
works.
is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually working pretty well, but yeah, it was so much fun doing that.
Yeah. I always ask when people say when they first got in, the first couple of discs they picked up, I always got to ask, do you still have them? Are they in the back of a closet somewhere?
Yes, yeah, we do
Are
have
they
them
in your
still.
bag?
No, they are definitely not
Chantel
in the
still
bag.
puts. She still puts with a leopard to this day.
You're right.
Yeah, that's her secret. That's why she's so good at it.
Do you still have them, or are they in a lake somewhere? Are they given away to friends?
No, they are in the pile. We have a massive pile of discs at home, and they were basically unthrowable because of how much damage they took from hitting trees. Like they're all chewed up and they just flip. And yeah, I might as well throw them out, but like it's a little piece of history.
Yeah, exactly.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So out here in Alberta, we got some good courses in Edmonton where we are, and then probably if we drive like 2 or 3 hours, that number kind of doubles, maybe even triples for some places. You're obviously when you're at home, you're in Windsor. If you drive 2 or 3 hours, you have a lot of courses that you can go and hit.
In Canada, no.
Yeah.
We have about one other one up in London.
Right.
Yeah. And then if we go to Michigan, which is about 15 minutes from our house, we have hundreds.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
we're pretty lucky on that part. And like the ones in Michigan are very nice. They've been there a long time and they've had time to work on them and stuff. And they're so beautiful. Highly recommend it if you ever get the chance.
Right.
Michigan disc golf, eh?
Yeah.
Maybe you and Jeremy should take a little road trip.
We'll be out there in November for Nationals, or September, sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not that far away. So you've got the local course that you always play. If anyone follows Chantel on YouTube, whenever you get new disc or if you're just out for a practice round, the one that you always go to, I forget the name of it.
Lakewood.
Lakewood, yeah. So you've got Lakewood, and then you've got one more than that, you said?
Well, actually, in the area of Windsor, there's another one that is called Patillo Orchard, and it's literally on an apple orchard that is in a person's backyard. So it's not that real of a course, but
Right.
it's definitely fun to play.
Cool.
Right. So, sorry, I pushed the wrong button there. There we go. It's hard to do 3 things at once. So over the last little while, Jeremy, I've been texting Jeremy every time I found a new putting game. I found an app online that I use to, in the winter here, I've been putting in the basement, trying to improve my putting. That's where it's won and lost, right? Anyone can drive, but putting is where you make that's where you make the money.
Drive for show, putt for dough.
That's what they say. As a new disc golfer, I'm using this putting app to try and help me get better. And it's good because it logs your score so you can see how you've done and you can try and progress and things like that. As a player with much more years experience than I do, where's your game at? Is there anything that you're working on?
Oh, geez. Everything, every aspect of it. Because so being on the pro tour with Chantel, I'm not really able to play the courses because they're all set up for the pros, and then they don't want a bunch of random people playing it to back
Right.
everybody up. You have to like set tee times for practice and everything. So I don't get to actually play that much when we're on the road. So I have to cram all my training for like the week before a tournament pretty much to get back into it.
Right.
The only times I really get to play are when we're filming. So I don't get that much time. So I would say I am literally working on every aspect of my game.
When you're filming, then are you're playing to film content. You're not playing to practice or work on any aspect of your game. You're just out having a practice round with Chantel.
Yeah, exactly. So we're trying to I don't know if you know this, but like when you're filming, it's way harder to concentrate throwing a disc, like
Right.
Yeah.
trying to be entertaining and stuff. So it can become frustrating doing that because you don't play for 3 weeks and then you go to film a video and you're hitting every single tree and all your shots have to be cut out. You're like, ah, dang it.
How do you separate Chris the caddy from Chris the player? Like when you're out there caddying and watching how Chantel's playing or any other pro, how do you separate that and be like, oh, I would throw that, when you should be like, oh, I'm caddying. This is not how I would throw that.
At the beginning, it was probably a lot harder, but now I'm actually pretty good at separating it because you realize everybody has their own special game and you just have to let them do it. Like if somebody's better at forehands and backhands with their upshots, then you let them stick to that, whatever they feel confident with. And that would be like my main tip to any caddy. It would be try to get your player to be as confident as they can be in the current shot they are doing.
Right.
Like that would be your main goal the entire time, over and over and over.
Right.
Okay. And do you let what you see as a caddy influence you as a player?
Oh yeah, for sure. Seeing some people just like make these crazy shots and like seeing how confident they are in certain situations, I definitely take that, and then when I go play it, I go, maybe I can do that, and then normally I can't, but still fun to give it a try.
Totally.
And it's funny we're talking about caddying. If you look at like the pro golf, the PGA, whenever you look at a golfer, they walk back to their caddy. The caddy's got the rangefinder out. He tells them it's like 135. They got the course book.
Yeah.
They're looking. They're saying that the pin position is in the back right corner. There's a slope. It's 135. That's your pitching wedge. What do you think? Like there's a whole discussion, and really the caddy is almost giving the person the club, although ultimately it's the golfer's choice. You don't necessarily see that as much in our sport, where do you ever say to Chantel, this is your F3, this is your H whatever, like, or is it you just keep quiet, she goes to the bag, picks out her disc because she knows it better than you?
A little bit of both. It depends. You got to read the room. You got to see how she's feeling. If she's super confident and grabs a disc, I'm not going to go up to her and be like, nah, that's the wrong disc. You don't want to get in her head,
Right.
But I actually, on the pro tour with the FPO, there's a lot more caddies who they do have that discussion. You don't see it as much with the MPO because they just carry their own bag. It seems that way.
Yeah.
But with FPO, there's a lot of discussion for shots and they talk it out and everything. But with me and Chantel, we have a pretty good system that she will ask me. Like if she just grabs a disc and she's just like, okay, I'm doing this with that, I'm just like, okay, yes, that makes sense. Like just try to reassure her that her decision is not the dumbest one.
Right.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then
Cool. Do you set goals for yourself when it comes to disc golf? Like, have you set any goals for 2025, like for yourself and for playing?
I used to set goals, but I have now taken a back seat and I'm focusing all my energy on content creation for the channel and just trying to be the best caddy I can be, just trying to take as much pressure as I can off of Chantel so that she can just focus on the game. I used to set goals, but then with trying to do all this, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So this year, all I want to do is play in a couple tournaments and have fun. That's it.
Those are noble goals.
That seems like a good. That seems achievable.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Do you
think I
set
can do
goals?
it.
I set soft goals. I don't set firm goals. Like
Right.
I'm like, I want to get out of this tournament playing 920 rated. I'd like to not lose a disc.
Right.
Like very soft goals. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy's a big goal setter. He thinks that he needs to have something to. He's always aiming for something, and that's the way he plays. And I think that's the way he lives his life. He likes to aim for things. He doesn't just do anything because it's a good thing to do. He has to do something to reach an achievement.
Right.
Whereas I kind of feel like, let's say you set a goal and you achieve that goal, then what?
What's next?
So then you set another goal,
Yeah.
and then you're always reaching. And then if you set a goal and you don't achieve it, then you feel like you kind of, you feel down on yourself because you didn't make that, you didn't achieve your goal. So
Right. There's no finish line.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of tournaments, there, you want to get out and play a couple of tournaments. Do you have any tournaments that you're eyeing up this year?
Definitely playing in Foxwood. That is
Right.
an A tier in Ontario that I love going to because we get to see everybody, and it honestly feels like a family reunion or something. After going to all the big tournaments and stuff, and then coming back and seeing everybody, and everybody's so friendly, and I just love it. That's one that me and Chantal try to hit every single year.
Yeah. And then, so with you being down on the States and you're going to all these Pro Tour events, do you ever see or do you ever hear about any other tournaments that you think maybe, oh, I would like to play that one next time? It's on the same weekend, or anything that you've heard, any tournaments that maybe might be on your bucket list to play?
I would love to try to qualify for one of the Pro Tour events because before every single event, they have 2 spots available that you can try to qualify for.
Right.
And I just watched a YouTube video by Jay Milley. He's a YouTuber, and he tried to do it, and I was like, that'd be so much fun. I should do that. So I think I should have done it for Waco.
Right.
I feel like I could have shot pretty well there, but maybe next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you throw an open bag, or are you like Prodigy by association? And how many Chantel Badinsky discs do you have in your bag?
I am actually open bag. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just get all the cool swag that they send to her, and she doesn't want to wear.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
So that's pretty awesome. But I actually have the. Oh, my bag's not here, but I have Chantel's F3 in my bag. That's one of my main discs, and I just put in her new disc for this year, which is the D2 Air Spectrum. Yeah, there we go. It's such a good disc. I love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you love flippy discs, it was a banger. Big fan of it.
See, and that's the thing, right? So it's a common thread on the podcast. If I go to the white screen here, I have a lot of, I have Chantel's F3 right there. I have the other one. Sorry, Adam. It's the
Nice.
It's the PA5. Yeah. And then she kindly sent a signed card. Oh,
signed card.
Hold it the right way around.
What a nice signature that is, by the way.
Right? It's like she's been doing it a while.
It's a gorgeous signature.
Yeah. So yeah, I do. But the thing is, I like to buy the disc just to support the pros, but I don't actually throw them. They just go behind me here on the wall and they hang out.
Oh.
Is that sacrilege?
You got some good ones.
Yeah, there's some good discs back there.
I don't know. I get it. Yeah, for sure. You have like a full bag right there.
I know, right? I don't know. I like to get them signed and then I just like hang them on the wall. It's like, yeah.
Kristen has like a couple owned Scoggins leopards, and
Right.
she like usually keeps 1 or 2 in the bag. And like sometimes she's like, well, I want to throw a leopard, but not that leopard in this situation. So it creates some conflict in her shots.
Yeah. So
That's why.
what's the newest disc that you've put in your bag right now, and not a disc that you kind of replaced one that you maybe is too beat in or anything like that, or you lost, but what's the newest addition to your bag?
So I don't really buy discs or get new ones. We have so many discs at home that
Right,
I just kind of pick through them and grab whatever. But the newest disc is Chantel's D2 Air,
Yeah,
right,
cool.
her signature disc for this year. It is crazy stable for being an air disc, and so
really, yeah,
that would be the newest one. Like I'm able to throw it on a sidearm and it doesn't flip over. I don't like any other air disc that I've thrown
yeah,
just completely
Right.
folds and like almost unthrowable on a sidearm for me because I don't have touch. Like I
yeah.
just rip it and see what happens.
More power equals better shot, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Never not.
yeah. So you mentioned it earlier that most of the time you're out there creating content, doing the filming and editing, things like that. I want to just touch on a little bit of your, it's time for me to geek out. Is what Jeremy
Should I
explains it here.
should I leave for like 10-15 and come back or
Yeah,
like
this is like the Firebird
yeah,
talk for
okay,
me.
fair enough.
Okay, yeah. So I'm the technical guy on the podcast. Jeremy writes all the scripts. He's the word guy. I'm the technical guy that makes everything work here. If we mentioned it before that your partner is Chantel, you're out there making content all the time. Chantel has quite the social media following and presence as well. Um, when it comes to her social media, did you split that as well, or is that just all Chantel?
That is like 99% Chantel. Like she does it all pretty much. You can tell the posts that I do, they're like the highly edited versions, which are like I maybe do 4 or 5 like a year or something like that for her. The rest is it's all her.
Right.
She kills it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you have like a strategy when you come to the social media game? Like do you come in with a plan or are you just kind of like, yeah, well this sounds good, this sounds good? Like is it strategized, I suppose the question is.
So we try to just film everything, all content, because
Right.
you can turn anything into content, really, if
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you do the right editing or you find it interesting or something. Like there was a clip from one of our practice rounds at Ledgestone one year that one of the workers there handed Chantel a disc from the previous year that she just threw in the or that she threw in the
Right.
water, and he returned it. And I was just filming, and she's like, "Oh, I just got this disc back. Let me throw it." She goes, throws it, and she almost aces the hole, and then it skips into the mud or something like that. And we were able to clip that, turn it into a short, and it's one of our better shorts that's on our YouTube channel. And it's like just film all the time, and then when you find something interesting, just put it out there.
Totally.
That's
Yeah.
our strategy, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah. I've said that to Jeremy when we go out. We're like, we should film everything. And it's only when we get to like hole 17 or 18, we're like, oh yeah, we were supposed to film this round. Yeah, it never works that way.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time too. Like Chantal will
Yeah.
just be like, "Were you filming?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, that happened last year where my buddies and I were filming all of our shots to see if we could get an ace on film.
Yeah,
And we put the camera away and hit an ace.
there you go. So,
Oh, that hurts.
I had a question. It's to do with your caddying. You mentioned about the rules for caddying and things like that. I mean, I know Simon and I think the Pro Tour have kind of cracked down on it a little bit. But Simon now has a caddy that's kind of his vlogger as well, if you want to call it a vlogger, whatever they call it these days. Um, what is that? How is that seen on the Pro Tour? Like when the caddy's standing there and getting their camera, is it, obviously you're just focusing on Chantel, but other people on the card, is it becoming like do people start rolling their eyes when you pull out your camera each time?
No, no. It's a lot of people don't even notice that I'm doing it. They'll at the end of the round, they'll just be like, "Oh, you were filming" or something.
Yeah, yeah,
But I do see a problem in the future because now that Simon's doing it, I believe it's going to spark everybody doing it.
right.
And if you aren't respectful to the actual play of the tournament, and you start setting up, and because I just get any shot the best shot I can get in the moment. Like I don't try to
Right.
set up or anything, and I can see it being a problem in the future. But as of right now, everybody kind of like every caddy just kind of whips out their phone and films real quick. But I think people are going to follow in Simon's footsteps, and it's going to become a problem, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, the PDGA might have to like, or Disc Golf Pro Tour might have to like get people like accredited in a way to be able to have a camera or to film, because they're gonna want to probably hold on to a lot of that content.
That's it.
But there's also this interesting community cross section where it's like you also don't want to cut off pros at their ankles when they're trying to grow their own brand, and they're growing the sport organically through social media. So
Exactly.
I could see it being a little bit of a tricky waters to navigate.
Yeah. I know there is
like
some.
practice rounds right now.
Go ahead.
Practice rounds right now. Like every time we're at the course, somebody's there with a tripod filming themselves. So like it almost seems like it's like mandatory now. If you're sponsored, you have to have a YouTube channel, which when we started, we were like the weird ones filming.
Right. Yeah, because for people that don't know, even before Chantel was touring, she had the channel where you would just visit a lot of different courses around Canada, film, and get those practice rounds. Like I say practice rounds, but they were actual your rounds that you were just recording and putting out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So from like I said, that whenever we go out with me and my buddy Jeremy, we go out, we try and record stuff. We're sponsored by Cardinal. There's a giveaway on right now for us that if we catch ourselves, record ourselves getting an ace, there's a free jersey in the works for us. But it's always, do you set up and just spend half an hour trying to get that ace? Do you have any tips for filming, on the course? Do you, like you said, you just whip out your phone and you have it handheld? Do you have like a tripod? Do you, how do you get back when you get back to the Airbnb or hotel or whatever? Do you have like a workflow on how to get the content edited quickly?
Sort of. Okay, do you use a bag or a cart?
Both. So a cart during the summer and a bag during the winter. But yeah, I would say when I'm out playing tournaments, things like that, it's a cart.
One of the biggest things that really helped me in Chantel was we got this like phone holder for her cart, and we were able to just set it up so that her phone, we would just walk up, tap it, like it would already be set up, just sitting there. So it was a tripod. That was pretty much how we started, because we just used the phone and everything, and that's how it all started for us. And then eventually we moved on and started getting cameras and whatnot, because I'm just a creative guy and I wanted a camera anyways. So it was a great excuse. And then we had like the monopod, but then it felt like too much to carry around. We wanted to be able to kind of be stealthy about it, I guess, because we were embarrassed about filming.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Like we never really did anything like that. Like before disc golf, we would pretty much just stay in, me and Chantel, like not do much, weren't very social. And then now disc golf has put us in a weird position that like we show up at a disc golf course in a random state and people know us and we're like, oh, that's weird. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, it's the other side of fame, right? So last question on all this social media and technology. This is just for my benefit here. So I know just by seeing when you're out on the course, you use are you DJI mics or Rode mics?
We're using the Rode.
The Rode mics, yeah. And then what camera do you use?
We are currently using the ZVE 10, I believe it is.
That's exactly what I'm using.
Hey.
Yeah. It's a great camera, right?
Hey, good one.
Yeah,
I love it. It's exactly what we need. I love how the lens is interchangeable, so that if I want to start shooting more cinematic stuff, I can just go out and get a different lens. And I love the size; it's so tiny.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, for being stealthy on the course and things like that, you don't want to show up with a big, big camera, big lens and things like that. Just a little,
Yeah.
yeah, just that little monopod that could maybe slip down into your bag, into the sleeve of your bag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So obviously, coming across disc golf was a bit of a happenstance. It just kind of happened. You kind of, the whole dog park story, or you're walking the dog, found it in a park kind of story. You mentioned you're a creative person, so I guess was ever having like social media channels or kind of doing content creation and that part of you, was that always there, or is that something totally new that just came with disc golf?
We've always been creating content, but never for a real purpose.
Mm.
We used to go just to cottages up north and with our friends, and we'd film the whole week and then edit a
Cool.
little montage down, and just to have it for like a memory and everything.
Right.
And then would post it on YouTube, and just we'd get no views, but it was just like fun to have.
Cool.
And so we've always been editing and making videos. And I do think if all disc golf fell through, we would still be making videos about something. Like we
Right.
just love doing it. Like it's so much fun just creating something and trying to share it with people.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked on the podcast before about how difficult it must be to travel on the pro tour. You're obviously, is this Chantel's first full year touring? Or was last year the first full year?
Yeah. We're trying to do more and more every year. This year,
Right.
it's going to be a little hectic, just because of the political climate. But we're going to see
Right.
how many we can get through, and
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully we can do a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we imagine, because we have never traveled on the pro tour, that it must be quite difficult. Can you tell us what it's really like? We think you play around, you pack up, you go to the next course, you show up on the Friday ready to play, and then you just start playing again, right? That's as easy as it is.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just you finish on Sunday at like 2,
Yeah,
and then you drive 8 maybe 10 hours to the next stop to get to the next Airbnb, and then you have to practice right away, but then you're also battling the weather.
right.
And for me and Chantel, we have to film content and then edit the content and then put it all out while you're still practicing, and then you got to do that tournament, which is now like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you do it all again and then
Yeah,
you do that all again. So personally, I find it's quite stressful for me because I'm not good with traveling and stuff. Like I get motion sickness on an
Mm.
airplane, so we drive everywhere,
right.
and it's a lot. Like before disc golf, we didn't leave Ontario pretty much. So now we're just living a completely different life where like we're driving almost 20 hours to Texas, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
like traveling and staying in all these crazy places and meeting all these people. So it's a total change, and it's stressful, but I absolutely love it.
How far in advance do you look at the logistics
hmm
of getting from tournament to tournament, from booking the Airbnbs to registering for like how far in advance are you building your plan for the year?
Chantel starts like around Christmas time, having it all
Wow.
planned out. Like once the Disc Golf Pro Tour actually announces their dates, we start thinking about it, how we're going to get there, what are we going to do. But luckily, I don't actually have to deal with any of it. I just have to listen to Chantel, and I go, yes, yes. And then I get in the car and drive her from spot to spot.
So right from like around Christmas time, Chantel has the Airbnbs picked out at that early.
She's probably looking, but she probably didn't buy it yet. But
Right.
Right. Okay.
she'll look anything that she gets super early in advance. It has to have free cancellations because our plans change so drastically. Like you never know what's going to happen. An injury can pop up or
Right.
anything really.
Right.
Right.
Makes sense. I'm just trying to look to see where we are. Sorry,
Oh,
I lost my spot here. Yeah, so so from what we imagine, like I said, you show up, you play a couple practice rounds, and then you start. Is it just as easy as that? Is it as an idyllic as that, or is there a lot more? Like you said, you had to book tee times. How far in advance do you have to book the tee times?
Well, the tee times for the practice rounds, you can literally do the minute of, like when you show up.
Oh, okay.
And to be real, most of the MPO don't follow it anyway, so it
Oh,
doesn't it doesn't matter that much. Like people just hop on, and everybody knows everybody on the pro tour. Like you see everybody every single week, so everybody's pretty chill about it.
yeah. Does Chantel or do you have like people that you like to practice with? Do you have that core group of friends that you're like, oh, we're going
When
out this?
I'm able to get out there, me and Chantel like to just practice just by ourselves so that she can get the most optimized practice. Like we find we can focus the best when it's just me and her, and because I know her game so well and she feels so comfortable with me that like we just understand it better. And luckily for my mental health, Chantel does have friends that she's been playing with throughout the week, so I don't have to practice every single day. Because it's a lot carrying a bag up and down
Yeah.
hills, especially this Jonesboro course. Like it's hilly. It's like a rock every time. And for this week, it's 27 holes, I believe, for the round. So it's going to
Oh,
be a lot of walking.
right.
yeah.
But yeah, she
I,
does have some friends that she's been hanging out with, and it's been great.
that's awesome.
Do you guys split the driving duties, or who takes the wheel more often?
Oh, me for sure. Like I'm good for about 13 hours of driving.
Nice. Yeah.
After that, my brain just turns to mush.
And it must be like a little bit of like if you have motion sickness while flying, it must be a little bit of a almost a unique thing to drive it all because you probably see so many things that you wouldn't otherwise see. Flying in from one center to the other, sure you'd see like the immediate things around the course and your Airbnb, but when you're driving everywhere, you'd stumble upon all sorts of fun things, I'd imagine.
Yeah, you would think so. To be honest, a lot of America just looks the same. Like it's a lot of just McDonald's and highways and cows. Really.
Yeah, so you're not missing much. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're talking about McDonald's, obviously, like with staying in Airbnbs, do you plan like your meal plans ahead of time? Like, are you making a lot of food yourself, or we can imagine it's quite hard to eat healthily when you're just traveling always on the go.
Yeah, the first year we learned that the hard way, that eating out all the time you feel absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like by the time we made it back to Canada, we just felt so drained and everything. So we've been learning to eat a little healthier and try to cook a little bit more, try to get healthy proteins in, eat a lot more fruits and vegetables, stuff like that. Go out for smoothies more. But
right.
it's a weird balance of trying to eat healthy and budgeting because like that's a huge part of it as well.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Has getting a van been a possibility, or is it a thought for in the future, like being able to maybe join the van life?
We have thought about it. One of the things that we don't like is crossing the border. We really hate it, and we feel like crossing the border all the time in a van would just cause problems. So that's one reason why we don't want to do that. And then also, we tried staying in our car once, and we absolutely hated it. So I know a van would be significantly better, but I don't think the camping life is actually for us.
Yeah, fair.
So just going back to your caddying duties, and you mentioned that you don't always go out with Chantel on some practice rounds. Do you caddy every round?
Yeah. I try to caddy every round when I'm able to, and I enjoy it. I try to film as much as I can, and it seems to actually improve Chantel's play because she has somebody she can talk to.
Yeah.
Chantel's a very emotional player when she's playing, so not having somebody to joke with if she's on the wrong card, it could really affect her game. And so, yeah, I like being there as much as I can.
Yeah.
So I also have kind of the fortune of caddying for my girlfriend who plays a lot of FPO events here in Alberta. So she's played, I think, like 35 events. We were looking at it before, like 35 events. I've probably caddied for like half of them.
Yeah.
And I find like for myself, I often try to be very mindful not to apply my game to her skills. And I always try and find not the right buttons to push, but maybe just the right words at the right time. I've had some success sometimes, and other times I have not. So my question would just be, how do you kind of, as a caddy, trying to help your partner, the professional in the situation, like where do you land on your communication style with her?
Oh, that's a tricky one. It really depends on the day and how she's feeling, but for the most part, like I said, Chantel's a very emotional player. So like good shots, she gets hyped and she's feeling good, and then bad shots they can affect her very negatively. So I try my best to just try to keep her focused on the next shot the best I can, and sometimes that is me talking to her as if like, hey, what do you want to do for lunch later, just to distract. And then other times it's me being completely quiet and taking the blame for the shot,
Right.
or just any reason like to make her feel better so that the next shot she is as ready to go as she can be.
Do you feel, I mean, no one's going to know her game as well as her, but do you feel you know her game as well as her?
Yes. Oh yeah. There's so many times that after the round when everything's calm and everything, I can be like, so you didn't listen to me on that hole, like, and you messed that one shot up. Like maybe you should have listened,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
forehand instead of backhand, or vice versa, or something. And yeah, I feel pretty confident that I would be able to call out almost like every shot she's going to do.
yeah. I feel that very similarly with Kristen. Like we love to reflect on rounds together,
Yeah.
and we definitely have disagreements on the course. And I always try to remember, okay, like it's her game, it's not my game. Sometimes, I'm thinking through my eyes, not hers. But
Yeah.
I feel like she should have shot that there, like
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So
Yeah, for sure.
at this point, we're guessing that Chris Chantal's been on so many cards. You like you said, it's a big community. You're starting to see the faces more and more. Um, I don't want to say do you have favorites, but is there is there a group of FPOs that you like to hang around with?
Uh, yeah, there's definitely people that when we see their name on the card, we're like, yes, it's going to be a good round. It's going to be
yeah,
fun.
Right.
Uh, Not any, like, there isn't anybody that we absolutely hate playing with. There are people that we're like, okay, so we're going to, like, it's
It's a
going to be a
different
very
vibe.
quiet round. It's just going to be
Yeah.
me and, yeah, totally different vibe. And we're just aware of that. But for the most part, everybody is pretty awesome. Like, there's nobody super specific that I can think of for me personally. I'm sure Chantel has favorites, but I can't think
Yeah.
of anybody off the top of my head.
And then the flip side to that, like you said, there's people that you like playing with, some people not so much. Do you have any wild stories that maybe you might have seen? Maybe a player reacted badly, or even some like a spectator, or anything that's happened while you've been out on tour?
Yes, yeah, I have. I've seen some things that I've definitely been like, oof, like I can't believe they acted like that. I'm not gonna give any names or any
Yeah.
specifics or anything,
Right.
but definitely seen these people
You
differently,
take
and
the
I was like, wow.
desert island disc Segway.
oh God, okay.
Yeah. It's probably a good thing that you're not giving out names, right?
Yeah, or else it
Yeah,
might.
yeah, because maybe they were just having a bad day. Like you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe like off the podcast one time, I'll tell you. But there's been some times.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, like Daryl said, you wouldn't want to give any names out there, otherwise you might start getting lonely out there on tour, and we'd hate for you to feel like you were on your own and almost like you were on an island.
On an island. Oh, you're so good.
Oh.
And you say you can't fill in for Jeremy?
Well, Jeremy wrote that beautifully.
There you go.
Now it's time for Desert Island Discs. Picture this. You've taken a relaxing cruise, however the ship goes down. You manage to swim to an island, and fortunately for you, there's an 18-hole disc golf course. Which 3 discs are you taking with you on the island?
There you go. It's that time of the podcast where we want to find out which 3 discs you would take to this fictitious island. You're on this cruise, you swim to shore, the only thing you grabbed was your 3 discs. Which 3 discs would you be taking with you, Chris?
I would definitely be taking my Judge just because that's what I putt with, and I feel like it's one of the better putters out there. Then I would go with, I have a Glow Pathfinder that I got from some Canadian tournament that I can't remember which one, and it is definitely the best mid-range out there. Like, no argument. Not going to listen to anybody else. And then I will go with my G-Star Destroyer. That was like one of the first discs I bought after getting the starter set. I bought off Amazon or something like that. I was just like, yeah, I need a Destroyer.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what type of plastic for your Judge?
I don't even know. It's like tacky. I don't know the plastic for that company. It's a friend of the channel sent it to me, and it's a Judge, and it says "Be Lucky" or something like that, and has a clover on it. It's green, and I feel like I'm making more putts with it. So
You just have the one putter?
Yes, yeah, I'm crazy like that.
Yeah. So a mysterious Judge,
Pathfinder,
a Glow Pathfinder, and a G-Star Destroyer.
Yeah. I like that G-Star Destroyer. That's a tight pick.
Did you throw that on forehand?
Oh, they're so good. Yes, I used to be able to throw it like all the time, but now it's a little too beat in. But it is perfect for any hyzer flip up type shot, and I love those kinds, so it works great for me.
Cool.
Wow. I always thought the G-Star plastic was a little bit more flippier, so I figured that when you were saying that, you know, you had those discs that you couldn't throw forehand because you would just turn it over, I would have thought that. I mean, I know it's a Destroyer, but I always thought the G-Star plastic was a little bit more flippy.
That's what I've been told, and I don't know, maybe I just have a noodle arm or something. I don't know.
I didn't want to say it, but
there's a high chance.
Yeah. We have somebody in the chat called Mega Super Jer. I wonder who that could be. He says he loves a good Pathfinder. Nice choice, Chris. So there you go. Had to give him a bit of a shout out.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, Tim, what did you think of your first interview?
I mean, what a guest to have.
All right.
The guest made it just so easy for me. When you get answers like that, and with a guest like this, you can't go wrong. So I appreciate it.
Never would have thought it was your first time on a podcast, Chris.
Never.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, Chris. Well, before we let you go, we want to give you a chance to have a shout out. Is there anything or anybody you want to give a shout out to? Now's your time.
I just want to say thank you to you guys for having me on. Really appreciate it. It's nice to be noticed as a caddy. And just thank you to anybody who's come up and said hi. Me and Chantel really appreciate it. It means the world to us.
Awesome.
Yeah, caddy solidarity. I'm with you.
There you go. The unnoticed.
That's right.
Perfect. Well, thanks for your time, Chris. We appreciate it. And we'll catch you out in nationals when we're out there later this year.
Yeah, that'll be sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. We'll see you then.
See ya. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. There we go.
That was cool.
That was cool, right?
I love the caddy discussion because, as I mentioned, like with Kristen, like I do caddy for her quite a bit, and I love hearing some very validating things that Chris said. That was like, I I do know her game. I am confident that I know her game, and I do get mad at her for doing. I'm like, oh, okay, so I feel those things too. So
Right.
I see myself in that, and that feels cool.
Yeah. It's got to be frustrating. I know. I mean, I don't caddy for Sonia, but I'm out on the course and she'll go to throw a shot, and I'll be like, no, you can make that corner.
Yeah, yeah,
Just throw it wide. And you're trying to tell her how to play the shot that you would play.
yes,
But maybe, I mean, if you know Kristen's game, then you know her distance, you know her power,
yeah,
you
but
know that she can make that shot. It's just whether she decides that she wants to in that situation.
yeah. And I feel like that's so true, but also she can't just throw a Firebird every shot because that's every time I'm like, well, it's just a Firebird. It's just a Firebird. And like, yeah, we go through that.
Yeah. Does Kristen bag a Firebird?
No, she has a Felon, this really cool swirly Felon as a utility disc,
Right.
and she has something else. I mean, she doesn't use a lot in that range. She's got
Hmm.
a couple other things, like she's got this Emac Truth that she likes to use slower discs because she's smart,
Yeah.
right?
Can,
S-
can you let me know how that,
yeah, you'll have to ask her.
yeah,
I'm not.
Kristen, let me know sometime.
I'm unfamiliar with that game. But yeah, she's got a couple things kind of she's got something in that category, but she's so good with her putters. Like
Yeah.
Kristen's game with her putters is unbelievable.
Right.
Um, like she's just like where I am throwing a Firebird, she's throwing something a couple speeds slower because she just has such great control. So,
Right.
and I know that, but that doesn't prevent me from saying, well, this is a Firebird shot. I am just stubborn like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So yeah, Chris was a great guest.
Great guess.
Great to see the other side.
Yeah.
We've spoken to disc golf store owners. We've spoken to disc golf course designers,
Yeah, yeah.
pros, TDs.
Well, you got to get that comment up there right now, right quick.
We've got to
Like
put it up there right now.
there's a comment that yeah, we got to get this one. Thank you.
Jeremy wishes he could grow a beard as good as
Yeah,
that.
not a chance. Not a
Right?
chance. It's really cool. And I also really like that Chris told us very truthfully like how they are kind of not homebodies, but they don't want to cross the border that often.
Yeah.
And that they don't like flying, so it is a long trip. Like I appreciate the honesty, and I appreciate that it's a genuine chat with him. Like that he's not saying like, oh yeah, it's perfect all the time, and
Yeah.
like to me that just speaks to someone who is down to earth, who is doing this for the love of the game and to support their partner. And I just have so much respect for that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's two things. One, yeah, I mean, like you said, for him to acknowledge the fact that Chantel's the better player,
Yeah.
has the better
Yeah.
potential,
Yeah.
that she's the pro, and that he wants to play these tournaments, but he has to take a back seat. And
Yeah.
he's fit into this role of content creator, caddy,
Yeah.
driver. When he said, and then the second thing, that they don't fly from Windsor. I Googled it today. From Windsor to Florida is 19 hours and 20 minutes.
Less than a day.
Okay, there's two different ways to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, driving from Windsor down to Florida, then
right.
Florida to Texas, and then like
It's
I
a
said,
bit
they're
of
in
a trip.
Jonesboro right now.
That's and like it's not easy to be away from home.
Yeah.
Like home is great. Home is lovely. At the end of a little, like when we come back from Lethbridge, I'm always like, Lethbridge was awesome. Glad to be home.
Yeah.
They're not going to get a weekend away than home.
Right.
They're weeks away.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. But
Yeah.
I super admire, like you said, his ability to just like recognize him and his place in her journey.
Yeah.
Like that's really, really cool. So
Yeah.
kudos to both of them.
Absolutely. And speaking of Chantel, we'll be chatting to her in a few minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really excited about that.
Yeah. Time is coming up.
Yeah.
So we want to thank everybody for listening,
Yes.
for watching. We appreciate it.
Thanks for sticking it out with me here. I am certainly better beard, but I'm no Jeremy Fowler.
It's okay. You know, I can't really say too much because he's watching.
You could say, I mean, what's he gonna do? Come back and swing at you? Like,
Right, exactly.
how's his memory? Is his memory good?
Yeah.
Then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No, this is super fun, and shout out to all the engagement in the chat. That was really some awesome content there. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Apologize if it didn't get to your questions, but it was really interesting listening to Chris.
Yeah.
If you did like the episode, why don't you go ahead and give us a subscribe?
Yeah. Hit it.
Put it in the chat there as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget to turn on the notification bell as well, and you'll get notified whenever we release a new episode.
Yep.
Also, go follow us on Instagram. Oh, that's not Instagram. Why did that one come up? Well, you still get 10% off at Cardinal Disc Golf.
It still applies.
It still applies.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
It's
Yeah.
not the right button for some reason. Go follow us, all other socials at Chain Out Podcast, Instagram, @chainout_podcast. And if you would like to support us on Patreon, head over to patreon.com/chainout, sign up for a free tier, and you can watch our Around the Basket episodes, which will be coming up in about 10 minutes or so. We're going to be interviewing Chantel Bedinsky. You don't need you don't need to pay. It's a free account if you'd like to sign up for it. If you don't want to do any of that, then you can always watch the Around the Basket episodes on Saturday when we release them to the public.
There's ways to get this.
There you go. And we have the 25% discount for Change the Board Game as well.
Just deals on deals and ways to find you, and just it's all there.
Did I mention Cardinal Disc Golf? Is that what popped up?
I think it is.
BR Disc Golf as well. 10% off at
Yep.
BR Disc Golf. Use the code CHAINOUT. There you go.
Wonderful.
Oh, speaking of BR Disc Golf, Brendan says they have her new disc is on the way.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. If you want to get her new disc,
It was a D2 Air.
it was a D2 Air.
D2 Air.
Yeah.
Excellent. And apparently it's got some torque resistance.
Yeah, even for an air.
For an air, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Lane Mosolf, who we've had on the podcast before, co-owner of Cardinal, works for Prodigy. I believe he designed the stamp for it.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, Tim,
Yes.
if you were to take a, let's say, the Glow Pathfinder,
Yeah.
if you were to take that out to, where would you be throwing that?
Oh, I'd probably be throwing that on like let's say Rundle hole 2, nice straight shot.
Yeah, that's perfect hole for it.
Yeah.
How would it go for you? You're going to throw it out there? Maybe is it going to put it on a bit of hyzer?
I'd put a little bit of hyzer on it. I'd push that right side.
Yeah.
Because I like to approach things from across.
Okay.
So I'd put a little hyzer on it.
Yeah.
Give some height. You want to give it height.
Right.
You want it above the basket, below the band.
Okay.
Right.
That's a specific range.
Yeah. And you want that thing to dive in.
Yeah.
And you want it to come down.
Be crashing right into the chains.
But the one thing you don't want it to do is.
Oh, I don't think that disc would ever.
It would never.
It wouldn't.
But it might. Chain out.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Head over to the link on Patreon right now. You'll see our clip starting. Thanks.